Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, we will be doing a quick reading session today. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
All right, let's start. Start reading.
Before going out the next day, he
He soaked.
soaked in a bucket of water the acorns that he had so carefully choose,
Chosen. Choose, chose, chosen.
chosen and
Counted.
counted. He carried an
Just a moment.
iron
Iron rod two.
rod to as a walking
Walking stick.
stick. He
Invited me.
invited me to come along with him.
Next prayer.
Having arrived at the place he had been heading for, he began to pound his iron rod into the ground. This made a hole in which he placed and acorns,
Acorns na.
acorn and covered over the holes again.
Covered over the hole again. Ekta hole.
Hole again. He was planting. Oh, okay.
He was planting oak trees. Oak গাছ সে পুচ্ছিল. Past continuous. He was planting.
Oak trees. In this way, he planted his on
He planted his 100
100
অ্যাকাউন্টস উইথ গ্রেট কেয়ার। তার মানে সে 100টা ওক গাছের যে ফলগুলো 100টা ওক গাছের ফল সে খুব যত্ন সহকারে মাটিতে পুঁতে দিয়েছিল। নেক্সট
He told me that for tree.
See, when we are reading, we will be reading in a very storytelling manner, okay? He told me that for 3 years now he had been planting trees in this solitary way. Read again.
He told me that for 3 years now he had been planting trees in this
Solitary, SOLITARY, solitary way.
way. He had planted on
He had planted 100,000.
planted 100,000
The pronunciation should be very clear.
of these on
No, the reading will be like this. Of these 100,000, 20,000 had come up.
20,000 had
Repeat,
come
repeat,
up.
repeat.
Of these of these on 100,000, 20,000 had come up. It was at his
It was at this moment.
It was at this moment that I began to wonder about his age. He was
He was
clearly more than 50, 55. He told me his name was
Alzard Buffer or something like that. It's actually a British name, American name. Okay.
Alzard Buffer. He had owned
He had owned
owned a farm in the plains plains where he lived most of his life. He had lost his only son,
his only son, his only son.
and then his wife. He had retired
He had retired. আমরা বলি না যে মানুষ রিটায়ার করে। He had retired
into this solitude where he took
pleasure, আনন্দ।
pleasure in living slowly with his
With his flock of sheep and his dog.
flock of
ভেড়ার পাল আর তার কুকুরকে নিয়ে। Say again, repeat. With his flock of sheep and his dog.
with his flock of sheep and his dog. He had
Break it down, break it down. Concluded.
He had concluded that
That this country.
this country was dying
Dining na. That this country was dying.
for lack of trees. He added it.
He added. Added. A-double-D, add, E-D. Added.
He added that having nothing more important to do, he had
Resolved.
resolved to remedy
Remedy the situation.
this situation.
Okay, next line.
We parted the next day.
No. Next day after that, there should be a pause. We parted the next day. Complete sentence, full stop, pause, then the next sentence.
The next year, the war came in which I was engaged for 5 years with the war behind
Behind me.
me. I had a great desire
Desire, icha. I had a great desire
to breathe,
to breathe.
a little poor.
Not poor, pure. Poor mane and pure mane povitra.
Pure air.
Pure air.
And I set out again.
Next page. Idiot.
Along the
Along the trail.
trail through that
Break it down.
deserted country. The land had not changed ever since the
Wait. This is wrong. The land had not changed. Full stop. Pause. Ever since the day before, I had been thinking about the shepherd who planted trees. Okay, read like this.
ever since the day before I had been thinking about the
Shepherd who planted trees.
who planted trees. Then
10,000 oaks.
10,000 oaks, I had said to
Myself, নিজেকে বলেছিলাম.
myself, must really take up a lot of space.
মানে ও নিজেকে বলেছিল যে এতগুলো হোয়াট ইজ দ্য নাম্বার 10,000 ওকস মানে 10,000 ওক গাছ এগুলো যখন পুঁতেছিল তার মানে অনেক জায়গা নিচে সেটা সে মনে মনে নিজেকে বলছিল. নেক্সট লাইন, নেক্সট প্যারা.
When I met
When I met
Alzard
Boffier or something like that actually.
Buffer this time, I found that the war had not disturbed him at all. He had continued with his planting. The oaks of 1910 were now 10-year old and were
Not where actually. It will be like the oaks of 1910 were now 10 years old and were taller than me and than him. Okay.
the sense.
The scene.
The scene was impressive.
Yes, the scene was impressive.
I was actually
Speechless. Bakruddho.
speechless, and we passed the whole day.
See, there shouldn't be this much of gap, okay? We'll be reading like this. I was actually speechless, and we passed the whole day in silence, walking through his forest. Repeat the line again.
I was actually speechless.
Speechless. Bakruddho. মানে কোনো কথা বলার অবস্থায় ছিল না. I was speechless.
I was speechless, and we passed a whole day
Passed the whole day in silence.
in silence, walking through his forest.
মানে তার মানে বলতে চাইছো বনে সারা দিনটা ওরা বনে হেঁটে হেঁটে চলতে লাগলো, মানে ওইভাবে হচ্ছে দিনটা অতিবাহিত করলো নীরবতায়, বনের যে নীরবতা তার মধ্যে দিয়ে। ঠিক আছে, নেক্সট লাইন।
It was in three
সেকশনস, তিনটি ভাগে বিভক্ত ছিল।
section 11
11 না, 11 কিলোমিটার।
11 kilometers long overall, and at its
At its widest point,
widest point, 3
kilometers wide. Wait. The line will be like this. It was in 3 sections, 11 kilometers long overall, and at its widest point, 3 kilometers wide. Okay.
when I consist
Considered. I always tell you to break down the words. C-O-N, see, S-I-C, derd, D-E-R-D, considered.
these had all
Sprung.
from the head
Hands, from the hands,
and from the
from and from the soul.
soul of this one man without technical aids.
Technical aids.
It
It struck.
me that
Struck মানে মানে মনে গেঁথে গেছিল। ঠিক আছে, দ্যাট দ্যাট মেন মানে একটা মানে লোক, আর মেন মানে হচ্ছে লোকগুলো, মানে অনেকগুলো।
men could be has
Where is has, Mongol? Be as effective, not has.
as effective
Effective.
as good
What should I say to you?
God in
Domains.
domains other than
It'll be break down the word. Break down the word.
destruction.
Say, repeat the word.
Destruction.
Okay.